Hello, my lovelies. Ginny O here, the author with no last name. It's been several months since SSO Mobile went global. I believe it's been in beta for over a year, with different beta releases in February 2021 and another in November of 2021, and been global since February 2022. I have been pretty vocal about taking what is a PC game and a monetization system that's been set up for a PC game and trying to shoehorn it into the mobile market. Today, I want to use examples of different reviews from the various Apple stores to illustrate why. If you don't have an Apple device, you can Google Star Stable Online Apple Store and you can see preview of the Apple Store in different markets, including the United States, Australia, Eastern Europe, Canada, Germany, Hungary, and I think Brazil. It's very odd. So each Apple server market, I guess, has its own store with its set of reviews and different star ratings and different review counts. Of the 5 stores I can find through different Google searches, maybe 6, SSO has an average 4.1 star rating. Every single store lists it as free and for the ages 9+. I'm not surprised at this star rating because the mobile player leans younger. They are more likely to give a 4 or 5 star rating while also asking for things or having actual severe issues with running the game, which should, if they were older, would have given a lower rating. You're going to see a lot of, "Oh my god, I love this game" reviews, and due to the fact some of these stores had the beta release, and I mean even now, you're going to get the technical, "This drains my battery, I can't get it to run, bad controls" reviews. Those aren't the type of reviews I'm interested in. I don't want to overwhelm you guys, so I have about 20 or so of them to illustrate my points. I want to give a big thank you and shout out to those on my Discord, Curse Cup of Tea, Azur, and Luna, who helped me get more reviews from different stores. This is a global thing, folks. Kids are the same everywhere. PC games and mobile games have different cultures around them. Mobile games in particular are definitely aimed at a younger audience than most PC games. I find it really telling SSE has decided to put Star Stable onto mobile rather than putting it into the Steam client. Steam client users tend to be older, and they don't hold back in their reviews if they recommend or don't recommend the game. I just want to say this isn't really aimed at SSE in a bad way. More or less, if you're a developer or you're thinking about a game that's primarily PC based and doing a mobile section of it because game engines make this easier, I'm not going to call it easy. There really is a different culture around these platforms, and if you set up your game for one culture and then take it into the other culture, you're going to get a lot of new players, yes, but they're going to quickly drop your game, especially if you're going from PC to mobile. The first issue is for new young players playing this game. There is a misconception: SSO is a new game. The game itself is less than a year old in their minds. If the players have played on the PC, they're not going to think about this at all. There are players who are signing up for this game and don't even know there is an internet browser website or that they are actually sharing servers with PC players. They don't know there is a lifetime option, which SSO doesn't want them to know there is a lifetime option. They think they lose money with lifetime players. Well, we're harder to please. There are helpful players who are going into the reviews and saying, "Hey, you can go to the website and buy lifetime." This means SSE very slow changeover of the new graphics is giving a very bad impression to these new mobile players. Terrible graphics and animations. Half the characters look the same. Game is sloppy in general. Or they give a suggestion like about, say, earning star coins and say, "This could also work in the computer version," when the games are the same game, sharing the same servers, just slightly different code versions. Players who are coming into this mobile game expect a finished product they can play without bugs in decent graphics that is up to the standards of 2021 and 2022. They want features and things Star Stable doesn't have, and they want it for free. So, if, by the way, you're a developer and you have a PC game or a mobile game and you want it on both platforms, do it at the same time. Spare yourself this pain. So, Second issue is monetization. Mobile players expect free to play. Star Stable is not a free game. It was created for the PC with the older MMO-type monetization model, and SSE was venturing into this DLC cash shop, tons of microtransactions, long before some other games in the PC market, like World of Warcraft, had even thought of it. Star Stable has a subscription model where you can pay monthly, and currently still has a one-time box price lifetime model. Then to make money, it has in-game microtransactions, only DLC, which are the horses. They are currently doing 6 to 7 horses a month, where if you don't buy star coins in a large bundle, you could be spending upwards of 30 USD per horse. That's 180 to 210 USD a month in-game DLC. You're going, that's not a real thing. They are given to us in update patches. You download it. It's DLC. Then you have a choice on if you want to buy it or not. That amount of DLC per month is ludicrous, and if this game had any traction at all in the industry, there would be more uproar about it. SSE here saying they are free on the Apple Store listing with in-game purchases is, well, a lie. And I have seen a lot of games doing this. They say, oh, they're free, and then after a trial hour, want you to pay anywhere from $1 to $10 for the game, which for SSO means you get a month of gameplay. And the store could say in the paragraph bit it's only free up to level 5. No one is going to read or care. They just see free in the store listing and trust it. The thing about labeling the game free, though, is it gets those who won't pay for a game to try out the game for several hours to days before they find out, oh, you actually need to buy it. SSE is hoping to hook enough of them so they'll actually pay for the game. The fact SSO is not, in fact, free to play ends up creating a tumbling avalanche of problems when it comes to the mobile player base. They have expectations of what free-to-play means, and Star Stable doesn't meet those expectations, and then when they get to the end of the free demo area, they either don't realize they have to pay for the game because they missed the notification or something, or they quit because they came up across the paywall. This ends up with reviews like these. Unfortunately, when you complete a certain quest, it says you need Star Rider to continue playing. The Star Rider prices are pretty ridiculous. Only problem is that the game is good for Star Riders. There is everything for them, but we do not have it. For example, only Star Riders can go to Jorvik. People who are not Star Rider can't do anything. The game without Star Rider is very boring. Sorry, sweetie, the game with Star Rider is boring. There are portions of the reviews that say they used to play the game all day, but now only sign in for an hour or so at a time. So what are the expectations of a free-to-play game? Well, other than the fact that it's free and they expect reasonably priced microtransaction purchases, which SSO doesn't have. So, email-less registration, meaning they want accounts tied to their Apple device, access to the whole map for free, horses for in-game currency, less premium currency microtransaction on basically cosmetic or roleplay features, and lastly, a way to earn premium coins, aka star coins. In every single App Store variations of reviews I can see and others have given me, I have these mobile player brought up issues that all stem from the fact Star Stable is a PC game trying to break into the mobile space, and the culture is just not the same. SSO isn't set up to be a mobile game, even in its login client. For mobile, they may be using an Apple-based client to launch their software. The issue comes when most games that are free to play on an Apple device aimed at kids have what we call a guest registration. They can play this game for free as a guest, or the game when they download and play it and they enter a name, that name comes with a player number tied to that particular Apple device or Apple account. This also goes for, say, Android and Google. Even Microsoft does this. You have a Microsoft account or a Google account. SSO uses a PC style often found in large MMO games like World of Warcraft or Guild Wars, where your account is attached to an email. This means you're going to have kids in their target audience of, I guess, 9 to 14-year-olds who literally cannot play the game because the game requires an email, and to get an email, you need to be 13. So we get angry reviews such as, "Parents said no because of email sign-up. I hate this. I really wanted to play this game." And then, of course, if they do enter an email, whether or not it is real, and they forget their password, then they are locked out of their account, and instead of trying to recover the password, they instead want to make passwords non-existent. Can you make it so we don't do passwords? And this is a reasonable expectation if you're playing a game tied to another account already. That account has a password. Why would you need a second password? It feels redundant. Unless you realize this game is actually a PC game being shoehorned into mobile. You will get players who will end up signing up with an email, one that is their parents or their grandparents or siblings, and then they get old enough for their own email and they find out they cannot switch the account to this new email without a lot of hassle and having all these numbers from their bank instead of having this verification type system where you type in the old email twice, the password, and then put in the new email with some type of two-step verification from the old email to the new one. My point is here, mobile players who are used to playing through their Google account or their Apple account or even Facebook games aren't going to expect to have to enter an email, and they won't have permission to play the game or going to quit as soon as they see that enter an email to create an account feature. The next thing about free-to-play mobile games is the entire game is supposed to be free. Mobile players expect access to the whole map. Even if they have to do quests to unlock zones, they expect to unlock those zones for free. Unlock places without being a star rider, like finishing a quest. This ends up tying back to the reviews of, you can't do anything unless you're a star rider, and if you aren't a star rider, the game is very boring. So players of PC games who are used to the demo and then buy either an expansion or buy the actual game type of monetization in gameplay know right off the bat when they get into this game they're going to hit a paywall at some point. They know there is stuff they can only do if they decide to pay for the game. That's how subscription or box price games work. As soon as you start advertising as free-to-play instead of demo or box price game on a mobile device, you're going to get the players who expect every single function of the game to be accessible by every player. So reviews like, "Can't go to the clubhouse because it's in Silverglade," show up. In free-to-play games, there is usually 2 different ways to complete and win the game. You have the pay-to-win model where you can pay a lot of money to get boosts and new armors and mounts and items and such to complete the game and keep up with your friends, I guess. Or you can do the play-to-win feature where you spend hours and hours grinding out your time to get either the same things or comparable things as found in the cash shop to end up in the same place story and gameplay-wise as those who paid for the game. It comes down to a choice of your wallet or your time. And because SSO doesn't really have an ending and there is no real pay to win here, the closest thing they have is the DLC horses, which they seem to think have different stats, which means something. They don't, for the most part, at least not the stat that matters: speed. And so SSO has made them real money-only purchases, and when you're a free-to-play player, you start looking around expecting to find horses that might not be as good stat-wise, or something that are either free or you can purchase with in-game currency. And they don't exist. This inputs a lot of player frustration and rage into the mobile market when the expectations of being able to get a horse easily or for free, or even grinding out enough in-game currency for it, or being able to trade in-game currency for premium currency aren't met. Free-to-play mobile players do not want to play the game or pay for these horses because they are too pricey, or they just don't want to pay at all. So SSE loses these players who, if the prices were lower, would buy these horses. Or if there was a way to grind for coins, they'd stay longer in the servers, which is also a win for SSE. This is by far the biggest complaint in the mobile reviews, because the horses are the biggest draw to SSO. I don't feel like playing a game about horses when you can't even get different horses. I don't like buying horses with star coins. It costs real money. It should have free horses. Could you make horses cheaper? Maybe horses cheaper, or at least make some of them purchasable for shillings instead? 2 to 3 free horses for a limited time. Hate how you can only buy horses with star coins. Please make a way to buy them with shillings. So SSE, who wants to finance their game with horse DLC microtransactions, and has moved into the mobile market, is in fact instead turning away players who would, if these transactions were cheaper or there was a shillings options, would stay with the game. They don't want to pay for a subscription and then pay more money for horses on top of it, because they feel there are excessive star coins transactions on other basic functions in the game and everything is overpriced. They feel gouged for money. SSO is not subtle like this. If other games are tiny chisels, SSO is a mallet. Many items in the games are priced at the weekly star coin allowance or at the maximum shilling cap of 10,000. There aren't other games that do this. Other games figure out how to have a system where A, they don't need an in-game currency cap, and B, they have prices at various levels with various stats and visual complexity that don't take days to grind out to get the in-game coins for one item. And what I mean by in-game mechanics costing star coins that shouldn't include leading your horse, staying the night, expanding your stable, stable care, and even map travel. I shouldn't have to pay star coins to do this stay the night. It decreases the amount of time players are in the game. Only counts when you leave the server. So this review sounds like they logged in through the server reset, and so it didn't register as a day had gone by because they hadn't actually shut their phone off. Make leading free. I actually agree with making leading free. I don't think I should have to pay for a basic horse mechanic function in the game. Thus, I haven't. These way overpriced items just cause frustration and stress, especially on kids, on young people who do not have the disposable incomes like adults to drop lots of money on SSO whenever they want. Super overpriced, and it's so stressful to figure out what to buy. There are ways to grind in-game money and have accumulated items to make money, but you have to be what is the equivalent of a late-game player in SSO to be able to do them. You have to have purchased the game in one way or another, and there is currently a bug on selling those things, so you have to unstack them and sell them one at a time to not lose everything. And some players don't know how they can unstack items because there is no good in-game tutorial for basic functions of the game like crouching or becoming a wild horse or stacking unstacking items. It is super frustrating if you're selling items, you get kicked out and come back and don't get the shillings and have lost the items, and it feels like you've wasted time and there's no way to earn premium coins to make this grinding for in-game coins moot. One of the major features of free-to-play mobile games is the ability to earn premium currency. You can watch ads. Ugh. You can do quests. Sure. You can have daily login rewards. Ugh. Some games put in gambling mechanics. Sorry, I hate slots. I hate loot boxes. I just hate it. In free-to-play games, even if it is small increments at a time, there is the expectation you can get premium for money-only currency just by playing the game in one fashion or another. Some games do multiples. Cooking Fever has slots and daily login rewards that give premium currency, and it's tedious. They have achievements that give premium currency, and it's tedious. Players want to be able to earn star coins in the game, either from racing or from quests, which, unless this racing system was a completely different system and much better programmed than the current daily race system, would be easily exploitable by hackers. It'd probably be better to put in one-time quests to earn star coins, because their quest system seems to be less exploitable than the racing system. And there have been a couple reviews suggesting these things. More ways to earn star coins. This one says level 30 or more, and since no one is level 30, I don't think they finished the game before giving this review. Get star coins from quests. When you're looking at this from a mobile player's point of view, and the game has so many star coin only transactions, it makes sense for them, and honestly to me, there should be ways in the game to earn star coins, or these many star coin only items need to be changed to shilling only items, or the current system of both shillings and star coins. Why have so many currencies if you can't earn them in game? And 2 is pretty low. I've seen a lot more currencies in other games. So many currencies start making your game feel more and more like a mobile game. Star Stable is trying to have their cake of the PC players, the subscription fees and lifetime subscribers. Those are the bulk of what should be their income. But they want their frosting to eat the cake too by adding in these horse DLC purchases every month and the microtransaction and making the game playable on Apple mobile devices. And if you're going, well, they're making $44 million a year off of PC people alone, it doesn't mean they're going to start making twice that with the addition of mobile players, because when mobile players are buying premium currency to make in-game purchases, they are buying it in much smaller batches to get more product than the SSO is offering. And those small purchases add up over time as they don't realize exactly how much they're spending. I want you to think about it. If you went to Steam and Star Stable was on Steam, and every horse broken up into every color was put up there at 950 star coins in a list in the DLC, or $28.50 USD, or 1,000 to keep us even here, so each horse, all 246 Gen 3 of them were up there at 30 USD each. Yes, it's 30 USD to buy 1,000 star coins. It's 17 USD to buy 500. Don't ask it to make sense right now. Premium currency never does. Would that make you pause and wonder what is so wrong with this game? They have 246 items of DLC at $30 each, and they're just horses with one special gait and maybe a hairstyle and maybe a bridle that fits only their breed, but you have to buy both the hairstyle and the bridle separately for yet more money. Does that ring any alarm bell? Something is wrong, and we aren't at support the game point anymore. Now think about how a mobile player feels when they go into the game and see 246 Gen 3 horses. The really good ones that are supposed to be in the game's art style with the special move and the pretty hairstyles are all star coin only purchases. And they can't find a single one for the free-to-play players that is in in-game currency. Not even the old Gen 1s or Gen 2s have shilling prices, and they're taking the Gen 1 and the Gen 1.5s out in increments. Wouldn't you, as a player who is used to free-to-play games, be disappointed or frustrated or even angry as you feel misled by SSE? I mean, this is basically a pretty horse collection game, and you can't collect pretty horses without spending hundreds of dollars of real-world money or waiting weeks and weeks for your allowance to build up if you bother to purchase Star Rider. You can do it in other games, but not SSO. In comparison, you buy Planet Zoo. I say you get it for $45 full price, and it goes on sale a lot, so it's likely if you wait, you could be more like $12. Then each wildlife expansion pack comes with, say, 8 animals with their environments and a new story scenario. You think, well, that's going to be expensive, right? $30 or more. No. It's $10. 10. 8 animals with new animations and environments and enrichment items and a new story scenario. $10. And there are 5 expansions to Planet Zoo. It came out in 2019. Each of them are $10. Which game would you reasonably buy in that scenario? Would you buy SSO where each new animal costs you 3 times the amount of 8 new animals in Planet Zoo? Or would you buy Planet Zoo because, hey, you can expand your zoo and play a new story? What is more cost effective? Future horse games, take note. How many horses would SSO sell if they were $5 each rather than $30 each? Or even if they were $3 instead of 30? Those little bits of microtransactions would pile up very quickly. But they probably feel they can't do that now because they've boxed themselves into these prices and it wouldn't be fair to older players who no longer play the game. I mean, simple solution, you send out a batch email to the older players with a code giving you, a certain amount of star coins as an incentive bribe for the price drop. You might still get angry players, but at least they had past star coins to spend. Okay, for developers here, it is a lot easier to take your free-to-play game with the free-to-play monetization and turn it into a PC game. Korean MMOs do it all the time. Don't be rival stars, try to put a box price and then abandon the game. PC players might not be happy with a free-to-play model because they have been burnt so much on free-to-play games in the past, but they'll be more willing to try it out and stick with it as long as they feel they can play to win as well as pay to win. When you take your subscription model or your box price model and try to put it onto mobile and you advertise it as free on top of it, which is not something they should be doing, honestly, mobile players, especially young children, are going to leave you fabulous star reviews about your game, but those reviews are going to reveal a very different culture towards games. They don't want to sign up with an email. A culture that wants reasonable price premium currency transactions. If they are paying $30, they want all 6 horses, and they better be able to change their hairstyles for free or with in-game currency, and probably add markings as well. They expect to be able to play through the entire map and story for free, earning premium currency while playing the game. They want to be able to buy everything in the game with in-game currency up to and including the horses with SSO. They expect basic game mechanics not to be behind paywalls or time gating with clocks. Mobile players don't want to log out of the game, which is a problem. And for the mobile market, these are actually very reasonable expectations. These are the expectations the industry has instilled and indoctrinated into them for years now, as the industry tries to exploit them to the tune of $1 billion a year for some of these free-to-play games. Some of them you've probably never heard of, like Super Stylist. Why would a fashion game be bringing in $1 billion a year? Who plays this game? Kids. Women. Who else? They're bringing in as much as Call of Duty. Crazy, right? But the game has been tailored specifically to the mobile market where SSO hasn't. I don't want to encourage this mobile culture monetization mindset. I find it toxic and predatory, and it easily exploits young children, the neurodivergent, and the elderly. I do not like it. I just want to point out, for the mobile market, Star Stable has really put itself at a disadvantage when it comes to everything from the login to monetization, and that disadvantage is going to mean, while there might be a bunch of longer time players who started on the PC playing the game because they find it convenient, they probably, I have no crystal ball here, probably aren't going to get as much money or the long-term players who will buy the game from the mobile market as they hope they would, simply because it's a mobile market culture. So this is why I've been very wary about SSO moving into the mobile market. It's not necessarily the mechanics or lack thereof or the graphics. It's the very basic free-to-play mobile culture prevalent in younger kids SSO was trying to attract. Their PC game reality is out of sync with the mobile player expectations. Not to mention their PC game reality is out of sync with PC gamer expectation, but that was the whole point of the SSO survey I did, so I think I've covered that already. Maybe this cleared my views up, maybe not. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourselves, my lovelies. Stay safe, bless, and And as always, I'll see you in the next video.